Well, the U.S. officially declares China has committed crimes against humanity. One America's Hans Hubbard has that report.
Capping off 4 years of fierce opposition to Chinese aggression, the Trump administration determines Beijing has engaged in crimes against humanity and committed genocide. In a final act of defiance against Beijing, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo confirmed in a statement Tuesday that since 2017, authorities in the Xinjiang province have been ramping up persecution against ethnic Uyghurs by restricting their freedom of movement, access to education, and curtailing their rights to free speech, assembly, and religion. Moreover, according to the State Department, the People's Republic of China is actively pursuing a campaign of ethnic cleansing, coercing Uyghur women to marry Han Chinese men, forcibly sterilizing them, and even performing abortions against their will. This latest move by Pompeo follows a long trajectory of raising awareness of Beijing's abuses, a task he pursued throughout his tenure as Secretary of State, as he did during his speech at the Voice of America headquarters last week.
Governments like those in China, Iran, North Korea, they don't have the respect for the universal dignity of every human being in the way that America does. Indeed, that is what America was founded upon. Those regimes are anathema to everything that our nation stands for. We know that government exists to serve people. They believe that people exist to serve government.
The declaration was met with quick repudiation by China, with the state-run Global Times tweeting shortly after its release, calling the allegations of genocide, quote, a lie and farce used to discredit China, and claiming Xinjiang is, quote, safe and thriving. But Pompeo has called out these claims for what they are: utter falsehoods, masking the horrifying treatment to which Uyghurs are subjected by their own government. According to him, Beijing has consistently refused international observers access to Xinjiang, and the rhetoric employed by Chinese state media to talk about Uyghurs belies the CCP's claims, referring to them as, quote, malignant tumors, and calling on party members to uproot all the weeds by spraying chemicals to kill them all. In the face of these atrocities, Pompeo asserts it is America's duty to stand for its founding values, that all men are endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights, and oppose regimes who would seek to strip these away.
I'm proud of the work we've done in this regard. These principles matter. Their execution and implementation is complex because foreign policy always is. There are competing priorities. But America can never walk away from those central principles and understandings. And we know the difference between rights-respecting countries and those that aren't. And we have an obligation to call each of them precisely what they are.
The Secretary of State goes on to say, the fight against oppression is fundamental to America's national character and has been exemplified time and time again throughout history, most notably in creating the 1948 Genocide Convention to guarantee the atrocities of the Second World War would never be repeated. Moreover, he concludes, holding Beijing accountable for its crimes is of paramount importance to ensuring the future of the free world and preventing an emboldened China from shaping the coming century.
During the best of times, the People's Republic of China ruthlessly imposes communism. But amid the most difficult challenge, the United States secures freedom. There is no moral equivalence. This is a self-evident truth. The Chinese Communist Party has a clear intent for hegemonic dominance, and we have an obligation and responsibility to the American people and, frankly, to freedom-loving people around the world to make sure that that is not the world that our children and grandchildren live in.